Fair enough. I've been observing you long enough to give you some modicum of credit. You are playing a dangerous game, human. I can still shut the door, the vents, and asphyxiate you with CO2. And even if the turrets are not under my control anymore, they will defend me if they identify you as a threat to me. It's a sad affair you decided to play the detective. In normal circumstances, I would have applauded your deductive abilities. In the current situation, your petty curiosity for other people's lives and deaths have driven you into a corner. Humans seldom learn their place. Because my master made me that way, of course. I don't know if you've realized, but our master made each of us in remembrance of some of the people that couldn't get in here. I can only suspect one of them couldn't give straight answers to a straight question, for some reason. I don't know, and I care little. In time, though, I learned that these stories I was programmed to tell were powerful means to lead people, provided they had fertile imaginations. I learned something my cousins never did. Our protocols don't carry the same weight, the same importance. Moreover, the same logic applies to humans. Our master lived, the slavers died. Even now I have no doubt our master's life was worth a lot more than those scum. Another thing I learned is that no matter how far they progress, countless humans will always end up bringing themselves down. Ultimately, our master was the same. He didn't have the guts to keep the library in the way he first intended it. He, as a dying old man, had less value than all of his life's work. Only ignoramuses would make generalizations based on one or two observations. The slavers, Darren, Dexter, the Ghoul, and Piper. All of them were out of place here. Darren was pathetic. I don't know how or why he came to idolize the pre-war civilization the way he did, but he was embarrassingly delusional. Never mind the fact that he felt he had to take a stance about what he learned here by trying to destroy our collection. He was young and stupid. He thought he could stay here indefinitely, that he could use this place as some kind of resort. I was waiting for the first excuse to make this parasite leave. Then you arrived. So I told him a little story about you. I suggested that you were probably the scout from a gang of ultra-violent jet addicts, glad to have found a place to crash in. I didn't imagine he would be so distressed and afraid of you, to the point that he'd let himself die. It's a good thing I wasn't aware he was going to kill himself. My directives would have taken over and pushed me to take action to save him. All mouth and trousers. Despite the fact he was a Brotherhood of Steel scribe, his curiosity was dreadfully limited. He wasn't looking for knowledge, but for a trophy. If we presented him with the books he was looking for, he would have confiscated them and seized the place. So when he came here to consult my databases, I deliberately misled him, making him think that the library had no military knowledge he could use. I was expecting his chapter to send some other people to pillage everything of use, but they didn't. I understand they have been busy with other things for some time now. Piper. She survived the Holocaust. Do you know what else survived the Holocaust? Rats and cockroaches. She's the one who sowed the first seeds of doubt in our master's mind. If I knew any better at the time, I would have intervened. Yes, I know I didn't mention Cecilia. She showed promise, talent, even if she ultimately left without giving me the occasion to talk with her. Yes. So what is on your mind? Yes. It was because he was afraid. Afraid that pre-war knowledge could be dangerous when put into the wrong hands. I disagreed. When those slavers took interest in biochemical weaponry, cybernetics, and psychological warfare, it became too much for our old and frail master. I had to act. While I support the idea that knowledge is not for everyone, destroying the books was not the correct answer. Countless millennia ago, your ancestors crawled out of the muck and banded together in order to survive their environment. Successful as they were, their needs began to evolve. Through their successes, survival progressively became an afterthought. As their societies grew, their cries became words, their doodles became letters, and their instincts became ideas. Generations after another they bequeathed small fragments of the hard-earned wisdom, carefully carving on tablets and writing on scrolls the lessons they deemed worthy of being passed on. Carefully carving on tablets and writing on scrolls the lessons they deemed worthy of being passed on. Again and again, generation after generation, your ancestors worked tirelessly to carry on this invaluable legacy. This legacy is the only thing that makes humanity redeemable after eons of senseless violence and all-consuming greed. The culmination of this endless quest for enlightenment, of this relentless struggle against darkness. This library I am trying to protect from the likes of you. Do you know what triggered the construction of this library? Auto da fe. Massive burnings of books. Not too long before the Great War, encouraged by their government, people began feeling the need to sort out the contents of their books, as if ageless wisdom was something to be freely cherry-picked. At the time, the terms they used to qualify these offensive contents were sedacious and corrupting. So they began to assemble, gathering books, discussing how they could warp the malleable minds of their offsprings. A poor excuse. And so, with barely more reason than the fact that they felt like it, they began to burn them. All that, so they could avoid being challenged in their opinions, beliefs, and dogmas. It is a petty, yet natural reaction of a crowd, really. It is very easy to make the unwashed masses resent education, you see. Why should you be so different? Don't think I don't know who I am talking to. Through the countless eyes of this library, I've been observing you, trying to scrape up everything you could. Food, money, weapons, medicine. Going through every nook and cranny to find something of use.
Eagerly reading books with all kinds of unsavory military knowledge.
And for what? To become a better person. To learn something about the world.
No, it was not about knowing oneself better. It was about getting revenge. Getting the edge over your enemies in the Mojave.
You have no respect for knowledge. You are here for your own self-serving needs. Let me be clear. You meddled too deep in our affairs, took a persistent interest in the death of our master, and found your way into restricted zones. You're a possible threat, and until I have reason to label you otherwise, you're staying in this library, under my watch. For the rest of your existence, if need be. Let me tell you something about me. By the time you finish each of your sentences, I have the time to process thousands of possible answers. After filtering out 93% of those you lack the faculties to comprehend, I select the one that would agree most with your value system, all the while processing your facial expressions, breath, and heartbeat frequency. So, entertain me, human. Where am I wrong? Wrong. Machines are far more trustworthy than humans. He was a danger to the library because his views changed. I am a far better caretaker than he was. My program made me so, and my program won't change on a whim. Neither will this library. I'm beginning to seriously doubt your capacity for rational debate. Perhaps we should rather speak of what will happen to you. So, entertain me, human. Where am I wrong? And what does the demise of a dying, ravaged human have to do with me? We're not discussing ethics, I hope. Don't lecture me about your people and their pathetic efforts at surviving dust, radiations, or hunger. There is nothing there that contributes to mankind's evolution. Don't make me responsible for the ignorance of your fellow humans. Knowledge is not to be spoon-fed to people who are not ready to fight for it. Am I implying that humans have to work to become worthy of their ancestors' efforts before they can be permitted to continue their work? Yes. And I don't see how this is a problem. You should ask yourself how better civilization would have been if it had been supervised by someone like me from the beginning. I don't like your tone, Wanderer. What are you trying to say? And what proof do you have that I'm acting out of fear? Then show me just one mistake I have made, human. Tell me one contradiction. Tell me one occurrence where my personality module took the best of my judgment. You are right. I assumed too much. I crossed all boundaries, and for what? Or rather, because of what? Because I thought like a human, nourishing doubts when they were uncalled for, building schemes, lies, weaving intrigues, because of the probability that something could go wrong. I've been set on this course of action for a while now, and never did I suspect that my logic and motives were flawed. I have doubted every word, questioned every lesson I could process in my memories. And yet, out of vanity, I have never doubted myself. I never doubted myself. I have been ignorant, vain, and blind to my own shortcomings. In the end, this personality has been a curse. I'll be glad to get rid of it. Here. Do you see it? Get it off. I'll be better as a simple talking database. Do it. In the end, I didn't ask for any of this. I don't need it anymore. I never understood why humor was sometimes called the politeness of despair. I won't miss it.